Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, December 31st, and welcome to CVHP News. I'm Sonora Scott. Happy New Year's Eve. First up, here's a look at what we're working on at KLST and KSAN. We'll be taking a look back at some of the biggest stories of the year, plus a few familiar faces will be giving you a special New Year's message. Now to your news around town. In 2019, more than $200 million were pumped into the San Angelo economy, and that's just in capital investments or new businesses. Our Amanda Lozano breaks it down.
2019 has been a really big year for the San Angelo economy.
More than $200 million worth of capital investment were established in 2019 in San Angelo.
So these are developments, everything from multifamily developments to new facilities that are being rehabilitated or built from the ground up for some of our industrial companies here in San Angelo.
This included the introduction of a number of new businesses, both small and chain. Quilting Quarters, Lily's Pizza near ASU, and the new co-working space San Angelo Studios were among a few. Orange Theory and Five Below are some of the new corporate operations that opened. A number of industrial operations that make up a portion of the San Angelo economy also started in 2019.
A lot of people don't know a whole lot about the over 110 manufacturing, fabrication, and energy service companies that exist in San Angelo.
While many businesses opened their doors in 2019, several closed them for good. The Concho Palace Dance Hall closed in October. San Angelo Bank of America branches closed in December as part of a nationwide move to online banking. Zentner's Daughter Steakhouse has been a San Angelo staple since 1974, and after 45 years, the family-owned restaurant will be closing its doors on December 31st. Though businesses came and went in 2019, according to Looney, San Angelo will see more growth in 2020.
Well, we're going to see more solar power generation plants. We're going to see an expansion of rail service through San Angelo because the International Rail Bridge at Presidio, Texas, which interlinks Mexico and Texas, has been rebuilt and is supposed to reopen later on in 2020.
For News Connection, I'm Amanda Lozano.
Well, a cold start to the last day of 2019. We saw some 20s, and we're going to slowly be warming up into the 60s for today, so not too bad with plenty of sunshine as well. But then if you're headed out the doors to either watch the ball drop, shoot some fireworks off, or enjoy some of the festivities that are going to be going on for New Year's Eve, only in the mid-30s, 36 for us tonight, so bundle up still, because it is going to be a cold end to 2019. But then as we go into 2020, we're going to be seeing some clouds rolling in, only getting into the mid-60s Thursday, warming up before a weak cold front on Friday. That's going to bring us back down into those low 60s, but then a quick warm-up coming back as we go into Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, yes, that is a 70 that's popping up for you. So end of 2019, pretty normal for us with those 60s, and 2020 looking pretty normal as well.
Thanks, Jay. And y'all know what day it is. It is Trooper Tuesday.
That's right.
Sergeant Justin Baker back with us again. Hello. Happy New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year's Eve.
We're excited for this, right?
Definitely. Last one of the year.
Last one. But we've got a lot to talk about.
We do.
Safety.
Safety.
We want to say safe for New Year's Eve.
Responsibility.
Yes.
Yes. So New Year's Eve, we all expect that there's going to be some celebrations.
Mm-hmm.
And so with celebration, we have responsibility that needs to come along with it. And so and it all comes down to the drinking and driving. And we don't want people out there making those mistakes in driving after consuming any alcohol. And it's best to go with that mindset. If we don't drive at all after consuming, there's no chance of a DWI citation or arrest. And so it comes down to a lot of it is the planning in advance and having that plan in place, where we either have that social media app that's going to get us that one click of the button,
and we do have Lyft and Uber here.
So we have those services. We have taxis. We have the just that contact that you have that saved first in your phone to make sure you call them.
Yeah.
And we'll see a lot of we've had a lot of stories over the years. I'm about to hit my 18th year, and we're talking about arrests. Where it was that person that doesn't drink all year long, and then they wait for New Year's Eve, and then they have that first drink or that first one of the year, and they just weren't expecting what it would do to them. And sure enough, they think they can go ahead and get in the vehicle still and drive, and they're over the legal limit. And when I say drink, it's normally a few drinks.
Yeah.
And so the magic number is always out there too. How many did you have? I only had 2, but
they know you're lying.
Yeah.
They know.
It's not 2 by 2 by 2. 2 shots, two tall boys, and 2 whatever else. And so we anticipate that type of behavior. So of course we increase our forces during this time of year, and we're going to have all troopers out there working to the late hours of the early hours of the morning, really. And in anticipation, we want that voluntary compliance where you're just not going to get out there and do that.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're going to be out there. We're telling you this. We're giving you a heads up.
We're going to be out there.
They're going to be out there. So make sure you have that plan in place. And nobody's saying that you can't have fun.
Right.
Y'all aren't the fun police.
Right.
You're just...
But we don't want to ruin a celebration because you end up going to jail and spend the next 4 hours in a detox tank.
And celebrating in jail.
Don't put the cell and celebrate.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of the things we're going to anticipate as well. Always we want to avoid any distractions in the vehicle while driving. Put the cell phones down. Talk to your passengers about not distracting the driver, and make sure everybody's secured in the seatbelt.
Yeah.
And also, when we talked about if you see that type of behavior where somebody seems to be impaired, get that information, call 911, and try to make sure that you're not putting yourself in harm's way while doing so.
Yeah. And as someone who has been hit by a drunk driver, there's no... I mean, you've got Lyft, you've got Uber, you got taxis.
Yeah, there's just so much out there available now.
Yeah.
There's no reason to get behind the wheel after being intoxicated.
Yeah, and like the commercial says, buzzed driving
is drunk
driving.
And don't have any alcoholic beverages in the vehicle while driving.
Yeah.
And we'll have that too, where they just go ahead and take it from
take
where.
this
Yeah,
to
we're just
go.
we don't want to go to waste, but no. That's not going to be. You can have an open citation, and it enhances the DWI if there's an open container in the vehicle.
Yeah.
So, did I say open citation? I don't know. It's
open
open container.
Yeah. Open container citation.
Yeah.
I mean, and talk about money. This
Oh
is
my gosh.
a lot of money.
We have the signs out there that say DWI, you can't afford it.
Yeah.
And that is very true. When you're talking about your first DWI arrest can really lead up to about $17,000 when you talk about court costs, record fees, reinstatement fees. There's so many different fees associated with that. And then losing your license, having to get an occupational license, and when it's all said and done, it's there for a reason. They say you can't afford it.
Yeah, you don't want it any time, but
Right.
you especially don't want to start off the new year automatically in debt.
That's right.
Because you didn't have a ride.
And there was, many times throughout my years with those arrests on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. I remember one that was right there in front of me, and we were at a stop sign. He's in the left lane, and he proceeds to make a right turn in front of the vehicle that was right in front of me.
Oh, good.
And sure enough, just very, very impaired the next morning, thinking that they were okay to be driving, and far, far from. We've had other ones with commercial vehicles. Remember, commercial vehicles, there can be no detectable amount of alcohol in your system while operating that vehicle.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the individual had stopped drinking about 10 o'clock the night before is what they said. And by the next morning, routine traffic stop led to the fact that they had a detectable amount, and they were out of service for 24 hours. And that doesn't go well for the company. And so
not at all.
those make sure you know all the rules, especially with what type of occupation you have, if there's any leeway in that type of behavior.
Definitely. And I mean, it's probably not going to get all out of your system in a matter of a few hours.
You got a burn rate, and with metabolism and food, and there's so many different variables to it. Don't try to play that game where you're going to say, well, I know that I've had 2 here, and then I can go ahead next 2 hours and drink another 2.
Yeah.
First thing that really starts to go with alcohol is judgment. And you might forget. There might be, especially with mixed beverages, that you're talking about a stronger concentration. You really don't know how much that was put into that beverage. When we're talking about a shot, it might have slipped a little bit, and there might be a little bit more. And now it's going to take a longer time to process that out of your system. Yeah. So you don't want to run that risk.
Yeah, so just don't play that game.
Yeah, don't play the games.
No.
So have that plan in place. I always say dedicated drivers got to be designated drivers got to be dedicated.
Yeah.
And so that in that mindset that they're not going to drink it all that night.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So again, there's lots of services. You know, the San Angelo does have Uber, Lyft. We do have several taxi services. You can call a friend.
Yeah, and it might be embarrassing, but embarrassing is better than DWI.
Yeah.
And we don't want you
and certainly
celebrating.
cheaper.
Yeah. Yes. Much cheaper.
Much cheaper.
Might be a little chewing on the way home, but it's going to be cheaper. So, but that's one thing. I also want to talk about what happened in Fort Worth a little bit, and we want to talk about understanding that when we are presented with an active threat, a lot of things are going to happen mentally and physically in that moment, and that response, it needs to be quick and it needs to be planned, and which we saw at Freeway. It's
I think it's the Church of Christ, was it?
Yeah. So at that church, they had a plan in place. It was Freeway Church of Christ, and so they had with their security had a plan team together that said if this threat were to happen, we're going to have a plan in place, and they were able to put down the evil. I want everybody to know out there that with the Texas Department of Public Safety, I'm a certified CRAZE instructor. Civilian response to active threats is civilian. We call it active shooter, but I always want to say threats because the threats can come in a variety of ways. And that program is free of charge. It's about an hour long, and we're going to talk about the mindset of avoid, deny, defend, and what you can do in that situation to make sure that you're not going to become a victim. You can get up, get out immediately, have that plan in place to either defend yourself, avoid the situation, or deny all access to where you could be hurt or become a victim. And that's been a very successful program. I've been doing it for over 2 years now. I was very busy with it in 2019, and I want to be very busy with this program in 2020. And because it comes down again about being prepared and have that mental mindset going into each day. And that's sad that we kind of live in that society, but it's real. It's something we have to accept, but we want to know that we can put down the evil, just like Jack Wilson did, and that's very important to understand.
It is, because he was, just right there, responded, ready to go. He talked about his training, a lot, all the training he's been through.
And that was very important too, that he had that mindset that he was going to continue to train and train and train. And sure enough, they said, he trained in hopes that it'll never happen. But if it does, he's going to be prepared and he's going to know exactly what to do, and training takes over. And that's exactly what happened that day, is his training took over and he put down the evil immediately. And
and there were several other folks who stepped up. They were ready. They went through that training as well.
Right. And so civilian response to active shooter events, CRAZE training, it's free of charge. I can go to any business, school, community event, whatever you have going on. And I've had all the way down to 3 people in the audience, all the way up to 300 people in the audience. And it's been a very successful. People have that mindset afterwards, and they start the discussions, and they start to realize where they could move too quickly or lock up quickly or just avoid quickly. And then if they have to, everybody has the right to defend themselves, and we're going to defend ourselves if we need to.
Definitely. And it's great because you actually go to their location,
I have
because
everything.
You got to be familiar with where you're working, where you're
from nursing homes to schools to just local businesses and everywhere in between. Again, I was very busy with it the last 2 years, and I want to stay busy with this as long as possible because it really comes down to saving lives. And I think it's important to have that information and have that thought process anywhere you go.
Well, I mean, Fort Worth, that church, I mean, we saw how effective training is. We saw how effective having someone, to step up and defend people. In a matter of seconds, the threat was gone.
And they had their plan in place, but the congregation, we want to make sure those people have a plan in place as well, to where they know immediately when the threat's there, the evil's there, to get up and get away and avoid any situation where you could become a victim. And if you see it developing, immediately get away, call 911, and have the resources show up that can take and put down the threat. And so that's one of the biggest things that I can see after a very successful into that situation. We want to go into 2020 with that mindset that evil's not going to win.
Yeah.
And we're going to put down those threats.
Yeah, exactly. So how do people sign up for this and get a hold of you?
You can always contact me on my email. That's justin.baker@dps.texas.gov, and that's DPS in Texas is spelled out .gov, G-O-V. You can call the department at here in San Angelo, and they'll transfer you over to my line and get a hold of me that way. You can put my information online, whatever you want to do.
I will do
Again,
that.
I'm already getting booked up for January. I've got at least 7 programs already scheduled, and so I anticipate again throughout the rest of the year to be booked with this program because it has been very well received.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that we want to make sure everybody knows it's available, free of charge, and it's there to help people.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. It's better to have this knowledge and not need it.
You can put all my information out there with my email, my office number, my cell number, whatever we need to do to get that program out there to the public.
Perfect.
So.
Wonderful. Well, any other topics you'd like to talk about?
Well, I think that's really it for closing out 2019. From a department stance, again, we're not here to police the party. We're here to, again, make sure it's about public safety. We want everybody to be safe as we close out 2019. We want everybody to have a mindset of being safe going into 2020 and just being responsible on a day-to-day basis. We have a lot of things we can talk about throughout the rest of the year. Please make those phone calls or email us or whatever you need to do to ask questions. And there's a lot of things that are going to be happening in the community with highway reconstruction and just all those things that we anticipate year in, year out. And we're always going to be here to answer questions and be available if needed.
Yeah, definitely. So. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think 2020, we could go into it also with the mindset of just looking out for each other. You know, that's one of the other things.
Yes. This is Texas, and we always care. It's the beauty of Texas. Everybody comes here. They're always happy to say how pleasant and how nice everybody is. And we want to continue that reputation of being just approachable and just the good old boy mindset.
Taking care of our own.
Yes.
Yeah.
And 2020, you can't go without saying, let's be focused in 2020.
But,
yeah. So do you want to have that perfect vision of being safe and responsible?
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me again.
This is wonderful. Again, Trooper Tuesday, every first and third Tuesday of the month. Like he said, email us your questions, message us, call us, let us know. We'll get all the topics that y'all want to address. We will get them addressed.
That's right.
That's why he's here.
Yes, ma'am.
So send us your questions, your thoughts, your concerns, and man, that's it. I can't believe it. Last one for this year, but
decade's closing out.
We're coming back. Don't worry.
Yes,
we'll be back.
That's right.
Fantastic. Well, again, Happy New Year's Eve.
And Happy New Year's to you.
We'll see you in a couple weeks, and we will see y'all right back here tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Be safe.